What's up YouTube? Titus here with another Invoked Shaddoll Dogmatika deck, profile, and match. I messed up and you didn't even notice. Well, now you did. Anyway, here's the deck, same one we've been playing, super fun, super consistent, well, for the most part. And because rank reset, we're going to do some rank climbing, and now we're going to see a lot of the meta decks rather than people playing in Platinum 1 and stuff, kind of just goofing around. So let's go see what we have today. So here's the duel, and they won the die roll. They activate Prep of Rites, so this means they're probably playing Drytron. We go ahead and Ash Blossom this. Not really the right spot to Ash Blossom, but we had Max C in hand, so we figured might as well try. They go ahead and activate Cyber Emergency anyway. They grab Drytron's Zeta, and they're going to activate Alpha Tribute Zeta, which is full combo. So we're going to Max C here because this deck special summons all the time. This will allow us to draw like a bunch of cards if they go ahead and commit. They're going to grab Herald of Perfection here. We draw another Maxi, and they're going to end the turn knowing that this is a problem. We're going to draw a card. Nothing really to do, so we're going to set 2 past the turn. So we set El Shaddoll, Shaddoll Fusion, and Wendy. We still have Maxi and Invocation in hand. They're going to activate Zeta, Tribute, Ben 10. We're going to activate Maxi because we can. They get their Meteor's Drytron. We draw Ash Blossom. They go for Bentane, but we Ash Blossom, baby. Ah, Maxi. What a wonderful card you are, but how much I hate you at the same time. They go ahead and end here knowing they don't want to give us a bunch more cards. Draw phase, standby, main. We have some issues here. So we don't have any engine, but because Wendy didn't get attacked into or destroyed, we can actually flip summon her and go ahead and summon a beast, which is then going to activate Shaddoll Fusion, so we can summon Winda. And they can't play around Winda very easily. That's going to trigger Beast to go ahead and draw a card. We have another Shaddoll Fusion. We're going to attack into the Zeta. It doesn't really actually matter here. Attacking into Zeta means they have to do Zeta Tribute Alpha, get Zeta. Instead, I did it this way because Alpha tributing Zeta would mean they would get another Ben 10. Well, this way they have to do Zeta Tribute Alpha and then have another name or ditch their Perfection if they really wanted to. But they can't because we have Winda, so it makes them have to commit a little bit more. Draw phase, standby main. They're going to go ahead and activate the Meteor's Drytron here. They're going to summon Herald of Perfection. 2,800 booty, so this is going to be hard to get around. We're going to get a Skulmata. We're going to activate Pot of Prosperity for 3. They go ahead and Ash Blossom this. They must have drawn it for turn here. It's a little rough, but we're doing okay. We go ahead and set Skulmata, and then we just pass. They're still only down to 1 special summon, and it's really hard for them to play the game. They're going to activate Alpha, Tribute Zeta. That's their 1 special summon. They're going to grab Natasha. We kind of have to end the game here, or else we're going to lose. They activate Meteor's Drytron. Go ahead and lower the Alpha by 1,000. Grab it back. They end. Let's see. We grab Droplet. This interaction is crazy, and I want to like highlight this interaction a little bit to kind of teach people how some of these things can work, especially when it comes to how Droplet interacts with other cards and how other cards interact here. And so we know that they have Herald of Perfection on the board. Herald of Perfection says, during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a spell, trap, or monster effect, you can send a fairy from the grave or from the hand to the grave, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. This card is crazy, and I couldn't remember. Herald of Ultimateness can be activated as many times in the chain, so as long as you have discard fodder, and we know they have Natasha, which I'm fairly sure is a fairy, because it's a Cyber Angel. Yeah, it's a fairy. So we know they have Natasha, we know they have, let's see, Meteor's Drytron, so we don't know the other 2 cards in hand. So we know when they have 1 negate, it's probably likely they have a Herald, maybe. Either a Diviner or Ultimateness, or not Ultimateness, Orange Light. Something to kind of, that they've drawn for turn that can facilitate the extra negate. So because it could be multiple times in a chain, This interaction is particularly really good because Droplet is just an insane card. Droplet says, send any other number of cards from your hand and or field to the graveyard. Choose that many effect monsters your opponent controls. Until the end of the turn, their attack is halved. Also, their effects are negated. But also, whatever cards you send to the grave, they cannot respond with. Meaning, if you send a trap card, they can't respond with a trap. If you send a trap and a monster card, they can't respond with either one. They can only respond with the spell. And the reason that's important is, so say your opponent has 2 monsters on the field, and you send a monster and a spell, and they activate a trap card. Let's say they activate, Wabaku. Let's say they activate Wabaku. Because they activated a card, they can now respond to that card's activation. So because of an opponent's, because even though you sent a spell and a monster, they activated a trap, so they are not responding directly to Forbidden Droplet because chains resolve backwards. So in this instance, it would be my effect goes, their effect goes to negate it, I activate Droplet, sending 2 cards, the monster and the spell, they activate a trap card, and now they are not responding to Droplet, they are responding to the trap card. So from there, they could do other things. It may not necessarily be what they want, because like Perfection here would have to respond to the last in the chain, but like an Effect Veiler or something like that could respond to it because of this responding to the Wabaku. And so that's the interaction that really makes like better plays, is making sure you understand those interactions as a player. So let's go ahead and see what happens here. We're going to flip Scum and Skullmata, and a lot of people don't necessarily use this flip effect. The flip effect is basically Man in Your Bug, like I said earlier. Flip it, you can destroy 1 monster on the field. And this is pretty detrimental to them, to the Drytron player. They're going to go ahead and activate Perfection. They're going to pitch the Natasha. We're going to activate Droplet. We're going to send the Skullmata so they cannot respond with Perfection again. That's going to resolve. That's going to go ahead and destroy the Perfection when the chain resolves. And that's the end of the game, because from there, I just attack into their alpha, and they have to have cards in hand to discard, and that's their 1 special summon every single time. They are down to 1 card apiece every single time. I can just keep attacking them, and they can't necessarily get things on board. By that time, our engine is off to the races. Droplet is a crazy card. I really would probably recommend crafting it. I've said it. I said it in my meta deck, or my meta analysis when it comes to some of your staples. Droplets is an absolutely crazy card, and because it's a best of 1 format, it's probably better that you craft this card to kind of get around some of these odd interactions, especially if you're seeing a lot of Drytron or other decks like Bird Up in the format at the moment, because this card is non-targeting, number 1, and can't be responded to when you send those certain cards. Usually a lot of cards set up monster negates. Bird Up sends monster negates. Drytron sends monster negates. When I say monster negates, I mean their monsters are the ones that are negating, not they just negate monsters' effects. I should clarify. I'm sorry. So I would recommend crafting droplets or pulling the forbidden drop, the forbidden one, whatever the fabled pack is, to try and get a couple. It's a crazy good card. The pack that they come from is not very good, so crafting probably more recommended. But if you're like over the 10,000 limit and close to getting your cap, and your gift is about to expire or whatever, maybe go ahead and try like 1 or 2 pulls, something like that. But really, you should just craft them because the card is only the good card in that pack. But anyway, I appreciate you guys watching the video. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you liked it. Click the little like button. It helps the channel get noticed. It helps us gain, more subscribers and more views and all that stuff. So it helps me drive to create more content, because I do this as a side job. I am a full-time, have a house, have a family, all that stuff. And so I like doing these things. I want to share my passion of the game with other people. So it would mean a lot if you subscribed. I really would. Thanks, guys. Happy dueling, everybody.